How do you apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietor? Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation, I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to teach you how to apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietor. One thing you need to understand right off the bat is that if you are a sole proprietor, you can qualify for a small business credit card. No questions asked. The only thing is that your personal credit score will matter a lot more than if you were a legit business, if you were an EIN only applicant. All right. So it's very important to understand that. So as a sole proprietor, your personal affairs are, I think there is a cohesion between your personal affairs and your business affairs. And that has consequences, especially at the legal level. For instance, if something were to happen to your business, to your activity, you might be actually liable at the personal level. Okay, so this is something I really want to say right off the bat. It's very important. But you can also choose to use a personal credit card for business purposes or apply outright for a business credit card. Another thing you need to pay attention to is the performance of your business activity. Okay, can you afford the kind of monthly payments that you are going to be responsible for if you get the business credit card? There's another thing that I want you to pay attention to. What if later on you want to actually upgrade to a real business credit card? In other words, if you want to upgrade your sole proprietorship to a legit business, to an LLC, you want to scale, you want to expand. The card that you currently have, is that going to help you? Can you use the same card? So those are questions you need to ask yourself before actually applying for a business credit card as a sole proprietor. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is the fact that the lender or the credit card issuer is going to look at you, I would say, more positively if you have already established a relationship with that lender. This is what I mean by MPR. We have said this before on this show. You want to start with your current lender. You want to start with your current bank, with your current financial institution. If you are a sole proprietor, let's say, and you have an account at Navy Federal, you want to apply for the Navy Federal Gold Biz credit card with Navy Fed. If you are with Chase or Citibank or Wells Fargo, you want to apply for a Chase, Citibank, or Wells Fargo business credit card as a sole proprietor. Now let's talk about the step-by-step. So there are a couple of steps you need to do to actually apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietor. Step number one, you need to choose the right issuer. This is very important because not all credit card issuers are created equal, okay? There are countless business credit card providers to choose from. So when evaluating the best option for your sole proprietorship, there are certain cards that really are better than others, okay? You want to really go for the cards that are backed by financial institutions, banks, or credit unions. And you want to have a relationship with those institutions. As I said earlier, it's important to start with your current financial institution so that because they already know you. They have a clear idea of your transactional volume, either at the business level and at the personal level. So this is kind of cool. And remember that you can actually open a business checking account or a business savings account by remaining a sole proprietor. This is why you need to have an EIN so that the bank can actually separate your personal checking accounts and savings accounts from your business checking accounts and savings accounts. And it's also important to understand that you want to look for the banks you already have accounts with, either professionally or personally, and you want to find out if they offer a business credit card for sole proprietors. Okay, so by reaching out to a bank that already knows your credit worthiness, you may have a better chance of getting approved. And there are some differences between banks and credit unions. Obviously, credit unions are nonprofit entities while banks are. So it's really up to you to determine whether or not you are better off getting a business credit card from a credit union or a business credit card from a bank or another financial institution. You also want to do the same thing for regional banks versus national banks versus community banks. And what is the length of your relationship with the institution? And what is the depth of the relationship? Do you have only one business checking account or one savings account or one? What do you have with the institution? Remember that you are going to boost your chances of getting a business credit card as a sole proprietor if you already have a business checking account and or business savings account. Okay, and you also might want to consider credit cards from online lenders if needed. So we have, for example, the Ally Cashback credit card. You have the SoFi credit card and the Best Egg cards. Now, those cards are not business credit cards per se, but again, as I said earlier, you can use personal credit cards for business purposes or business credit cards. Okay, so it's all about me trying to help you, give you all the options you need to make a proper decision. Step number 2, you want to choose the right card, folks. We are still having a conversation about how to apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietor. Step number 1, you want to choose the right issuer. Step number 2, you need to choose the right card. Okay, and we have actually covered this on another show, so I will quickly go through it. We have covered some of the credit cards I will be talking about in today's conversation. There are a few cards that are really great. So we have the Regions Visa Business. And this is a card that is really fantastic for sole proprietors. You can actually get this card, and you have an intro purchase APR 0% for 6 months, and the regular APR oscillates from 9.49% to 20.49% variable. And then we have the Santander Ultimate Cashback. This is great, another great business credit card for sole proprietorships. With this card, you earn 3% cash back for the first 12 months, and then the APR little one oscillates from you have 15% all the way to 29.99%. Okay, and in some cases, if you have great credit, you can actually have an APR that starts at 12.99%. We also have here BMO Harris Business Platinum Rewards. And this is another great card that has an APR that oscillates from 15.24% all the way to 24.24% variable APR. Then you have the PNC Visa Business. This is another great card for sole proprietors. And the APRs here are pretty interesting, whether you're speaking about the intro offer APR or the purchase and balance transfer APRs. So you have APRs ranging from 9% all the way to 19%, 10% to 20% rather. And then you have the KeyBank Business Rewards credit card for sole proprietors as well. All these credit cards are also great for established businesses. Okay, so I'm not just saying that the cards are only for sole proprietors here. No, they are for all kinds of businesses. And so the KeyBank Business Rewards, you have the APR that actually goes from 11.99% to 21.99%. And then we have here the US Bank Triple Cash Rewards Visa Cashback. And this is another great card that allows you as a sole proprietor to earn rewards, to earn cash back. We have the SunTrust Rewards for Business. And here is a card that actually gives you 0% intro APR for the first 12 months. Then after that, you have 12.24 to 19.24%. Then you have the Fifth Third commercial card, the Fifth Third commercial card. And this is this is actually a charge card, so the balance is paid in full, but you can actually get up to $350,000 in limit. And then you have the TD Business Solution cards, another great cards for sole proprietors. If you have a relationship with TD Bank, this is kind of cool. And we also have the Citizens Everyday Points Business. And this is a great card. You can earn up to 3.5% in rewards when you spend $5,000 in the first 90 days. And so this is really good. Number three, folks, you want to check your credit score. So if you want to apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietorship, your credit score is going to matter big time, because this is not an EIN only business credit card application. This is a personal credit card application if you apply for the card as a sole proprietor. So you need to have a great credit score. Either you have a great credit score or you establish an MPR with the lender or the credit card issuer. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, as a sole proprietor, your personal information, your personal financial information matters more than it would for business owners of other types of businesses, right? Your personal credit score will be scrutinized by card issuers. So before you apply, think about being at least 650 or 700. If you don't, try to have a multi-product relationship with the credit card issuer. For example, if you're thinking about applying for a business credit card at Chase and you have less than stellar credit, try to actually establish multiple relationships with Chase, either at the personal level or at the business level before applying. So you can actually open, for instance, a Chase checking account, a Chase savings account, a Chase investment accounts, brokerage account. You can open a Chase business checking account, a Chase business savings account. So the more asset accounts that you have, the better your chances, the better your odds of being approved. And you also want to check all three bureaus, and you want to ensure that the scores are consistent on all three. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. When was the last time you checked your credit score? Have you actually seen your credit score at on Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion? If not, now is the time. Now is the time to actually root out any derogatory items, any wrong item on your credit report. I want you to go to annualcreditreport.com to get free copies of your Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax reports. Okay, you can also use services such as Credit Karma, Wallet Hub, and NerdWallet to get free copies of your credit report. At the end of the day, it's very important to understand that when you check your credit score, you know how critical it is to reduce your CUR, your credit utilization ratio, and your DTI, your debt to income ratio, before applying for your ideal business credit card. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about how to apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietor. And it's also very important to understand that if you want to have a high limit credit card, there are a few things you need to do. Step number 4, you need to get your act together. Okay, make sure you have all relevant application information handy. You'll be asked to provide your social security number, recent financials to show monthly revenue and expenditures, and your company's tax ID number. This is important. And so this is something you need to get ready. Make sure all the numbers are accurate. You don't want to lie on a business credit card application form or on a credit card application form in general. Okay. And while most other small businesses will be required to provide an EIN, an employer identification number, as their TIN to apply for a business credit card, your status as a sole proprietor means that you'll use your social security number instead. Okay, that rule changes once you have employees. However, since you'll then be required to have an EIN assigned to your business by the IRS, one thing we've seen is that even as a sole proprietor, you can still get an EIN from the IRS. If you want to open, for instance, you want to open a business checking accounts or business savings accounts, this is kind of cool. But the lender, the credit card issuer, is not going to pay attention to your EIN if you are a sole proprietor. Okay, and the card issuer will also want to know how long you've been in business. Banks and other financial institutions want to minimize their risk. That makes sense. They want to cover their ass, right? So the card issuers are more willing to work with a more established sole proprietorship than a new one. So if you've been in a business for, say, 5 years or 10 years, this is kind of cool. Let me ask you a question. Have you prepared your personal financial statements in the last year as a sole proprietor? You have to. Big decision time. You have to. The reason is that for a credit card, for a business credit card application, they might ask for it, especially if you apply for the card at a branch. They might ask for it. They might ask for your personal balance sheet, for your personal income statements, and for your personal statement of cash flows. They might also ask for your tax returns, specifically the Schedule C of your 1040, because this is where you put all the profits and losses, all the expenses and sources of income coming from your business. Okay, and in some cases, they might also ask for a business plan. Step number 5, folks, you need to have a game plan. So step number 1, you need to choose the right issuer. Number 2, you want to choose the right card. Number 3, you want to check your credit score. Number 4, you want to get your act together. And number 5, you want to have a game plan. This is important. You got to ask yourself whether you want to get an unsecured business credit card as a sole proprietor, or you want to get a secured business credit card. What is the difference? The difference is if you have less than stellar credit and you can't qualify for an unsecured business credit card, maybe it's time, if you have some cash on the side, it's time for you to apply for a secure credit card. In other words, you will deposit a sum of money and they will use that sum of money to secure the credit card, for instance. How about co-applying? Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Do you have a partner, a business partner, or a family member you can use as co-applicants who has a better FICO score than you? Because this could be a good opportunity. Right? What about collateral? You want to decide what you can offer as a personal guarantee. Since credit card issuers want to manage their risk with the borrowers they take on, sole proprietorships that offer a personal guarantee or collateral have a better chance of being approved. Okay, the collateral can be anything. Collateral can be company equipment or real estate or monetary guarantees as a down payment. Okay, so those are things you need to think about. And also in terms of having a game plan, are you looking for balanced transfer offers? If that's your goal, then you want to look for those cards. You want to zero in on cards that offer those sort of BT offers. Okay, what about pre-qualification and pre-approval? So when I'm speaking about having a game plan, I'm speaking about doing all your homework in advance. You have to seek business credit cards that pre-qualify you, business credit cards that pre-approve you, so you can actually, minimize all the hard pulls that your personal credit will get. Because remember, as a sole proprietor, you are basically taking all the risks. You're not sharing any of the risk with another entity called your business in this case. No, definitely not. So you have to do all this homework, look for cards that offer balanced transfer offers, cards that offer pre-qualifications, pre-approvals, doing all these things beforehand. 6, you want to double down on MPR. You really want to double down on this because if you want to boost your chances, you really want to start with the bank where you currently have accounts, either personal accounts or business accounts. Okay, so when I'm talking about doubling down on MPR, I'm speaking about focusing on 1 or 2 institutions whose business credit cards you would like to have. And ideally, you want to have a business credit card from a national bank, a big national bank, and you want to have a business credit card from a credit union or a regional bank. And what you want to do is you want to open both personal and business relationships. And EIN is great for business relationships, okay? This is why, as a sole proprietor, you still want to have an EIN from the IRS. And when it comes to doubling down on MPR, you want to open as many asset accounts as possible. So you can open 1 checking account, 1 savings account, and for savings, it could be a CD, a certificate of deposits, a money market account, a high yield savings account. Another asset account can be a brokerage account, a retirement planning account, an IRA, for instance. So any account in which the money is yours is called an asset account versus a liability account. A credit card, for example, is a liability account. A loan is a liability account. A mortgage is a liability account. And you also may want to sign up for insurance if your financial institution, your bank or a credit union offers that kind of product. Okay, big decision time. Are you interested? Does your bank does your bank offer some services? It really depends upon the business you have. Here I'm speaking about services at the business level. Okay, depending on the kind of activity you run, if you have needs for merchant processing, in other words, if you need to be paid through credit card transactions, then a lot of banks offer that kind of service. Okay, so you want to do the analysis I'm just telling you here, both at the personal level and at the business level, to see exactly what kind of opportunity you have in terms of relationship. And you can see on the screen here, we can see that for Navy Federal, for example, you have all the possibilities at the personal level. You have checking, savings accounts, certificates, money market accounts, retirement savings, education savings. And at the business level, you can see here that they have services, all right, business solutions, for example. And last but not the least, you want to meet with the banker. This is very important, folks. If you want to apply successfully for a business credit card as a sole proprietor, you want to do it at a branch. Don't do it online. If you do it online, you will be taken care of by a robot, an algorithm. You want to do it over the phone or preferably at the branch. So when you go to the branch and you start talking to it, just schedule an appointment with a credit card rep or a loan rep so you can discuss your needs, your business needs. Of course, this is strictly business related, right? This is a sole proprietorship. So your business needs with the banker, your goals also. Are you looking for rewards, points, short-term funding? What kind of goals you have for this business credit card? And you want to review with the banker the bank's credit card offers. And you want to ask him or her the best way for you to apply. Again, every situation will be different because depending upon your creditworthiness, your company's sector, and all kinds of stuff in your industry, you might have to do things a little differently. So you want to ask the best way to apply. And you want to also think about the timing of application. Big decision time. Do you currently have enough cash coming in your business to paint a better financial picture of that business? In other words, are your cash flows positive or negative? Are you in the red or green or black, so to speak? Right? So those are things you need to think about in terms of timing of the credit card application. You also need to think about all the paperwork needed. So when you have that meeting with the banker, make sure you have your tax returns and personal financial statements. And if you are really organized, you can actually have business financial statements so that you have a complete picture of your situation. Tax returns must have Schedule C. Very important. It must be very clear to the banker, to the credit card issuer. What is your revenue, your profit and losses? And another thing you want to do when you actually meet with the banker, ask more questions about the rewards. You want to ask questions about sign-on bonuses, travel miles, or cashback. And those are things you can accrue as you use the card, right? So since you may spend thousands on purchases using a business credit card, this rewards can rack up quickly. All right, folks, this was it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about how to apply for a business credit card as a sole proprietorship. Number one, you want to choose the right issuer. Number two, you want to choose the right card. Number three, you want to check your credit score. Number four, you want to get your act together. Number five, you want to have a game plan. Number six, you want to double down on MPR. And number seven, you want to meet with the banker. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I will see you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.